Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or you're just happy to see me?
Hi, my name is what? My name is... Yes, remember that infamous image that was going around that people think is Sauron, but likely is not Sauron? Well, he makes an appearance in this episode. And literally it's... Don't know what his name is. Don't know anything about him. We don't find anything about him. You know, the real Slim Lady. Like, I see everything in Middle Earth in the chat, pretty much. But I'll show you the image. We don't know anything about those three. For me, when I saw the initial image of the three looking down onto something, because we weren't sure what they were looking at, my first thought was the devil from Passion of the Christ, pretty much. That was my first thought. Pretty much. I'm looking at this going, I guess the term non-binary is there for a reason, because I couldn't fucking tell if they were male or female. But anyway, and then, like I said, the image going around where people are like, oh my god, is that Sauron? He looks like he's gonna shank you for your sneakers, pretty much. Oh, like I said, they're in there in this episode, but I'll get to it. Like, they're alluding to a connection to another character, but what that connection is, I have no fucking idea, pretty much, because they just throw them in there as a mystery box and basically just gloss over them for the rest of the episode, pretty much. But anyway, I'm going to say hello to the chat before I bring up the episode, because there's going to be a little bit of a rant near the end of this episode. Now, I know I shouldn't be surprised. I know I shouldn't be at all fucking surprised that there is lore breaking, but there was, like, substantial lore breaking in this episode. In this particular episode. Alright? Oh, and I'm also going to also say that I will hurt Maza. Now, to say this is the best episode, when all the previous four were literal shit, is a masterpiece of overstatement at this point, but the story actually looks like it's progressing. Now, when I say story, I mean, like, loosely. Fucking story. Looks like it's actually progressing at this point. But I am going to fly to Australia, and I'm going to hurt Maza. Because this happens to be the fifth fucking episode, and I'm going to bash him with my Lord of the Rings books. That's what I'm going to do. But at any rate. So, I'm going to say hello to the chat, and then I'm going to bring up the episode, and we're going to go through it. I might cover it rather quickly. I mean, I'm not saying, like, I'm not going to speed through it necessarily, but I do want to kind of sneak in a cheeky Call of Duty Modern Warzone beta stream before Talk Nerdy to us, and so I want to kind of try to get through this as painlessly as possible, as quickly as possible, so I can get to that and actually take out my aggression on some poor random players in the multiplayer, pretty much. Now, first off, I see Skirmitar. He says, it's too late for me, but have fun. Good evening, Skirmitar. Hope you enjoy the replay if you catch it. Muhammad, hello. Good to see you. Everything in Middle Earth, hello. Yeah, can't wait, yeah. Give me the meat and give it to me raw. Pretty much, yeah. Could be taken multiple ways as soon as I heard that line, pretty much. Hello, Sultan. Good to see you. Ms. Martin Muses, I hope you don't have a conniption, especially when we get to a certain part in this episode. Soul Assassin, afternoon, Mara in chat. Good to see you, Soul. The Femme Shady, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Priestess, it's a priestess, but we don't know what the actual connection is. I'll show you that, like, the reason why I say there's a connection to a character, even though there's not really any, like, definite anything definitive to it, but I'll show you, like, why. They really character assassinated Gil. Yes, that's where. Yeah, that's like where, like, some of the rant is going to come. But they, like, as part of my spoiler-free review, I'm like, they've fucked over Gil-galad and Celebrimbor all in one fucking go. I mean, they were already fucking over Celebrimbor at this point because they took away the fact that he was friend of the dwarves, being a master forger and things like that. They took that away from him and gave him that to Elrond. But to fuck over Gil-galad? Wow. Fucking wow. They did that. They really did. They really did in this episode. Yes, this is my Twitch. Thank you so much, Trey. Tim F. Hello. Yes, rant. I'm gonna rant. I'm gonna get to a point where I'm gonna fucking rant. BC Springsbar can't handle the channel day. Thank you so much, BC. Yeah, this episode actually got me angry. This episode, like the first 4 episodes were just, I was angry because of the lore breaking, but one of the bigger sins was that it was fucking boring. This episode pissed me the fuck off near the end, pretty much. It pissed me the fuck off. It's beyond suck, yeah. It pretty much is. Yeah. Not Gandalf. Yeah, the not Gandalf character, pretty much. Not Gandalf, yes. Yeah, pretty much, yep. That also made me fume as well. Gravy D, hello, good to see you. Feminem. Hey, Roberto, good to see you. And, oh yeah. So they fucked over a lot of, they fucked a lot of shit in this episode, pretty much. Alright, so, let me bring up, I have it up, but I'm gonna, like, share the app, pretty much. The window. Move this over a second. Yeah, so, alright. Again, I always kind of pause it on this screen because of the disservice to J.R.R. Tolkien's name. They always put based on the Lord of the Rings and appendices. Like, the only truth to this fucking statement is the appendices. That's it. That's the only truth to this statement because that's the only access they have to his works, other than the rights to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, which they cannot, as of now, adapt. But to put this in the credits, and I agree with Trey, I see the comments over on the YouTube side pretty much as they come through first. It's like with the 4 Wests at the end of Scream 5. Like, you basically literally fucked over everything he built up, worked on from his own creation, pretty much, and made it about identity politics and attacking the fans, and you have the audacity to put 4 Wests at the end of that movie, and you have the audacity to put adapted based on Lord of the Rings and dependencies by J.R.R. Tolkien, pretty much. Really. But anyway. Alright, so I kind of skip. Okay, picks up. You know, like I said at the beginning of my review, what was it, the episode or 2 ago, pretty much, the Harfoots were all about no one gets left behind. You know, like stay on trail or whatever, the little chant they do whenever they're having their little festival. No one gets left behind, pretty much. And who gets fucking left behind? This family, this Harfoot family. Like you literally start the episode, you have no idea how far ahead the other Harfoots are, pretty much. You have no fucking idea how far ahead the other Harfoots are. You don't see them. These Harfoots, these hobbits, because they're hobbits, even though hobbits are not mentioned at all in the Second Age histories whatsoever. That's not to say they didn't exist during the Second Age, it's just they weren't mentioned. So they are basically taking a lot of liberty there by including them in this show, this series, pretty much. But you have them chanting "No one gets left behind," things like that, like kind of like, you know, the, I don't know, multicultural dwarves from Snow White, that their little chant during their festival, and they punish them, since, like, you know, for what, really, I don't know, other than her helping this guy out. Yes, they don't like strangers, but still, I mean, you're supposed to be kindly folk, right? You're supposed to be kindly, things like that. Yeah, they're horrible people. It's a LARP session, pretty much. Yeah, it's a middle finger to J.R.R. Tolkien, yeah. Holy shit. No, please, no Soul Assassin, no. I like the first Jeepers Creepers movies. I even like the second one, kind of. Okay, anyway. But anyway, they leave them behind. So you see her, Nori, I think that's her character's name. She's trying to teach the stranger English. Alright? Okay? She's trying to teach him English. She's still, you know, again, no idea. He's fallen from the sky, so she has no idea really if he's good or evil, just that he doesn't even know who he is, pretty much. But he hasn't demonstrated that he's bad or anything like that. But we don't know. Alright, but she's helping him. She's teaching him English. She's teaching him words like peril and things like that, and he starts picking up on it, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I'm saying, like, she's... Again, it's like the writers kind of gloss over things. Like, I don't know if they actually have actual editors reading these scripts or not, but I'd be looking at this going, okay, he understands these words, but doesn't understand these words. All right? So, I mean, it just doesn't make too much sense. But she's, teaching him, and he feels like he's a peril. Yeah, she's teaching him snails. She looks so fucking dirty. Harfoots, all right? Harfoots. Okay. Again. Oh, I can't believe I have to do this. I mean, they might not have access to the actual, like, works themselves, but they have, like, access to the fucking books. Things that they can get. And read. Harfoot. Most numerous and typical of the Hobbit strains were those who were named the Harfoot. They were the smallest of the halflings, and their skin and their hair were not brown. The Harfoot are the first of the Hobbit people to leave the Vales of Anduin and cross over the Misty Mountains into Eriador. This migration was in the year 1050 of the Third Age, right? So basically, they're the most numerous, and according to the page 3 of Fellowship of the Ring, most representative of hobbits. They're the ones that we see in the Shire at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring. These look like their hillbilly cousins that they try to ignore any relation to. She's so fucking dirty, and it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, even nomadic people bathe, because when they're contending with wolves, and these are supposed to be wolves in Middle-earth, pretty much, and you'll see them if I get to that part pretty much in this episode. When you're trying to avoid creatures like that, as well as big folks, you don't want to give yourself off because you smell to high heaven. You're going to find a way to bathe. Yeah, Hobo Baggins. Yeah, imagine this fucking smell. Thank you for the super sticker, Big Raj, with the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Mr. Bentham, hello. Yeah, they look like they live under freeways. And first off, the reason why they're nomadic doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not saying I would forgive this in the series, but if the explanation were that they were migrating from one part to the other and they were going to settle, that would make sense. That would make sense. But to be nomadic because of crops, that's not exactly why you're nomadic. When you're nomadic, you're following the animals' migration because that's your primary source of food and things like that, not the crops. When you're crops, you literally settle down in one place and you live there until you cannot basically farm anymore because of whatever reason. Arid land, weather changes, things like that. It doesn't make any sense for them to move away from a area that's plentiful with food. Hey, Stig. Yeah, you actually watch it? It stunk. I've been watching all fucking 5 episodes. Yeah, why would they move away? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't... nomadic involves animals, because animals move. They move because of the weather. So when it turns colder, they move to another location. When it turns warmer, they move to another location. That would be why you would kind of be nomadic. You wouldn't exactly stay in one place, necessarily. Not crops. But this is the reason she's giving him. This is the reason she's giving him, pretty much. I'm not going to go through the whole litany of examples she gives. But I was watching this going, that doesn't make any sense. But then none of this fucking show makes any sense. None of this fucking series makes any sense, pretty much. So, alright. So, she's teaching him what the word peril means. He thinks he's peril. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. They want Poppy to sing. Yeah, they're migrating to the grove. They want Poppy to sing a song. Mom's walking song. Your mom's walking song. Pretty much. Okay, so Poppy sings. I'm going to try to get to the line that was like, really? You fucking put that line in the song? I mean, to play devil's advocate, the song itself is like beautifully sung. I mean, the words make me do this. The song itself is like well sung. I play devil's advocate just a little bit. Let me see if I can get to... Oh, come on. This one, right here. That not all who wander or lost. Remove the wonder, spelled W-O-N-D-R. Remove that. That not all who wander are lost. It's a fucking illusion. It's member berries to Aragorn. Yeah, I know. Gandalf or Gil and the little people, yeah, but they lack in personal hygiene to make a foreign... yeah, pretty much. It is member berries. You literally look up the quote, not all who wander are lost. It is connected to Aragorn. It's connected to Aragorn. It's from the Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah. Oh, they fuck over a lot of shit in this episode, Tom. I just got over being sick. Yeah, it's gonna make me sick again. I know. As soon as I heard that line, because I put the subtitles on when I was watching it yesterday, because I kept the volume down since I still wasn't feeling that well. And as soon as I saw those words, I was like, "Are you fucking shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me?" They put that little member berry in there. That not all who wander are lost. All right? Okay. I was like, I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be fucking surprised. But there it is. And I also want you to keep in mind, folks, for those who have been like following my live streams on this, basically, that each episode, if you've looked at the little timer down at the bottom right of the screen, each episode is a little over an hour long. Just a little over an hour long if you kind of take out on the previous episode, bullshit at the beginning, and the credits. So we are now a little over 5 hours. A little over 5 hours. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was lazy too. That was lazy too. It's like, oh, but we can't bother to show any scene, like film scenes of them actually migrating or walking. So we're gonna show you their little trek across the map, pretty much. Yeah, that was lazy too. I was forgot about that, but yeah, they kind of like do that on the map. Over 5 hours. That is longer than each, not combined, but each of the extended editions of Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Longer. And nothing has fucking happened. Yep, I know. I need a bucket sometimes. So if this is a prequel, they're attributing this line to Poppy's Mam's Walking Song. So it's going to be attributed to the fucking Harfoots, not Aragorn, at this point. I don't fucking know. They're singing. They're fucking singing, and they already smell, so guess what? If the creatures didn't smell them first, they sure as hell gonna hear them. They live their week to die, pretty much. I really don't think it's Radagast. All signs point to, if not Gandalf, then someone like Gandalf. And I'll show you why. I'll show you why I'm calling it, kind of. I'll show you why I'm calling it. All right? Let me see if I can kind of take it back to show you. You can't really see his shade, but wait, look, gray. That's one indication right there. It's more gray. Yeah, I'm racist. My racism. Yes. See, I don't think it's a blue wizard either, or really Sauron. I mean, it could be Saruman, but I'm saying like there are kind of clues that at least Gandalf is the inspiration, pretty much. And I'll show you. Like another. I'll show you. All right. But anyway, they sing it like some point out. They trace it over the map because they're lazy. Oh, this is the Hold on. Remember the Grey Marshes? I saw that on the map and going, member berries! The Grey Marshes! Remember that? The Grey Marshes, member berries! Another member berry on the fucking map. Yeah, they went east. I'll tell you, like, there's... Okay? The Blue Wizards went east. And they were actually, I think that they actually released pictures of the actors they got to play the Blue Wizards. So I don't think it's this guy. I could have sworn they released images for the actors they got to play Blue Wizards. I think they're mentioned in The Hobbit. Not by name, though. But I think they're mentioned in The Hobbit. I think that's where they're mentioned, and Amazon does have the rights to The Hobbit. I'm saying, like, not by name, but I'd have to pull out my copy of The Hobbit. Because I remember Bilbo... Or was it Lord of the Rings? But because Gandalf was going... kind of listing off how many wizards there were. And he's like, Saruman, like himself, Radagast the Brown, and of course the two Blueses, pretty much. But but I've forgotten their names pretty much. I know they're mentioned. So if they're mentioned, then it's either The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, and technically they can use them. Now, will it be the actual Blue Wizards? Fuck no. Okay, it was The Hobbit. I knew, like, Gandalf would mention it. It was the Hobbit. Yeah, I was right. It was The Hobbit. Because he's going through how many wizards there are, or Istari. 5. But he forgot the Blues' names. He couldn't remember their names. And check if I'm wrong, but Amazon had acquired the rights to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So the fact that they're mentioned, technically that is free game, pretty much. Because Amazon does have the rights to it. Now, are they going to be the actual Blue Wizards? Like I said, fuck no. Because Rings of Power is in no way connected to anything Tolkien wrote. Yeah, they're not Istari, pretty much. Yeah. Because it's like they had a story, a fan fiction already written, and all they needed was the rights to be able to tell it. Because this is not anything associated with what Tolkien wrote. But anyway, there, more member berries, like I said. Grey Marshes. Alright. More member berries. The harfoots have to cross the Grey Marshes. Okay, the beginning of this episode is like literally just the fucking song. Show them migrating. He's looking up at the sky. He fell from... Hello, Slayer. So considering everything going on in the state of the world in Hollywood, would you consider yourself a conservative or a liberal? Okay. I wasn't expecting that question. I've progressively and quickly, not recently, but like growing up, I would consider myself more libertarian. I lean conservative on issues. Not all issues, but like most issues. I would consider probably myself socially liberal on a few. But for the most part, I'm libertarian. Stay the fuck out of my personal life. Pretty much. The government shouldn't be a nanny. That's the gist of my politics, pretty much. Stay the fuck out of my personal life. Don't tell me how much sugar to use, salt to use. Don't tell me that you can teach my kids better than I can, or raise my kids better than I can. Don't tell me what to wear, things like that. You do your job and actually put forward policies that will benefit America, and we'll all be one big fucking happy family. That's my political philosophy. But stay the fuck out of my personal life. You're not educators, you're not doctors, you're not anything but the fucking government, and you should be creating policies that benefit the country. That's it. Okay, my little political rant right there. But more libertarian. I'm more libertarian. No! There you go. Anyway, so he's looking up at the sky. God damn, this song's long. Alright, okay. Oh, look! Okay. There are the three. Alright, there are the three. Oh, there you go. So there's the three. Yeah, I know. Quite a lot, actually. And I immersed myself. In the role play. But anyway. So here's the three. This is the only fucking time you see them in this entire episode. You don't know anything about them. I'm not expecting any full-on exposition, because that's storytelling should be, in terms of cinematic, should be shown, not told. Alright? Alright? I don't know what the point was of showing Feminem in this point, pretty much. Alright? But they're staring down on something. And you find out that it was this. Alright? They're staring down at that. So you have this. I guess it's a chick. I don't fucking know. Then you have... Hold on. This chick here. Okay, this definitely looks like a chick. Alright? Okay? Then you have the devil from Passion of the Christ. Alright? Yeah. Okay, this is a scene where I like, there's a clue that like tells me that at least the stranger is not Gandalf, or like whatever, pretty much. Hey, Brian. Yeah. Okay. All right. The devil, the Satan from Passion of the Christ. This priestess character. And I'm not seeing an Adam's apple, so I'm guessing it's female. Oh, if it ends up being her, I will fucking scream. If it ends up being her, I'll fucking scream. Hey, Orange Chat. Well, more shit on Amazonian. Yeah. But anyway. I'm not saying an Adam's apple, so it's a woman. But let me see if I can show... Here. Right fucking here. See that symbol on her, that plate, or whatever the fuck she's holding? See that symbol? See that symbol? Alright? I'm not saying it's the exact symbol. Now, I'm not saying it's the exact symbol. Let me see if I can find a good image. Type in symbol of Gandalf. See if I can find one where he like puts it on Bilbo's door. But anyway. Oh, no, that's too small. Okay. Who posts shit like that small on the internet? Alright. I'm gonna stop sharing this real fast. I'm gonna show you this. Alright? Type in symbol of Gandalf. That's one of the first images that pop up. Alright? Keep this in mind. Alright? See that? Okay? This is type in symbol of Gandalf. You get this. Okay? Stop sharing this. Then share this again. Yeah. Non-binary pronoun freak looking for Gandalf. See that? Apparently the symbol means wealth. He came down from the sky, much like the Astari did. The symbol is eerily close to that of Gandalf. He has magical abilities. He's walking around, and yes, arguably the fucking Harfoot gives this to him, but it's gray in color. Whatever you want to call that thing he's wearing. I'm not saying it's Gandalf, but you can't help putting those little bits and pieces together and thinking you're creating a not Gandalf character for the Second Age, pretty much, which would take away the impact of the actual Astari entering Middle Earth in the Third Age. Yeah, I know, but he doesn't even remember who he is, and it wouldn't make any sense for him to draw a constellation. I'm just saying, like, they're like dropping all these little nuggets, and I'm not saying it's going to make any fucking sense. I'm not gonna say it's gonna make any fucking sense. I'm looking at those like little pieces, I'm putting them together, and I'm like, you're fucking shit up royally right now. They might try pulling a 180 and make it Saruman. I'm just saying, I'm not calling anything either way, but I'm looking at all those pieces, and I'm going, it does not look good. It just doesn't look good. None of the series at all looks good. But this does not look good. Yeah, those are the ex-wives for the late alimony checks. Right here. And then here's where you get the infamous... that shot right there. Hi, my name is... what? My name is... who? My name is... hello. That's it. This is the only time we see these characters in this entire episode, pretty much. Alright? No idea the connection, but it looks like we'll shank you for ciggies and whatever dollar bills you have in your pocket, pretty much. All the elves, yeah. The elves have short hair too. Hood Elf has a nice fucking fade to him. And I'm wondering, where is a fucking barber in Middle Earth? Hey, Timon. Well, that's what someone was saying up top. Then maybe, who said it up here? Soul Assassin, she's in the Mouth of Sauron. Could she come in the Mouth of Sauron. In which case, probably sounds like she smoked a lot of ciggies. Yeah, pretty much. Looks like Charleston Chew, yeah. So like looks like someone that you wouldn't trust at fucking all. Day or night. Hey, Roto. Yeah, there are supercut franchises in I'm saying this is lore. I'm saying, like, like lore, like throw out any fucking lore you know. All right? They're just throwing shit against the wall and coming up with like their own story at this point. Well, even then, if you look at the timeline for the Second Age and then look at the timeline in this show, it's all over the fucking place. Because here, I'll show you, Stig, real fast so we can get through this. We can finally get through this fucking episode, all right? So I have the timeline right here. I have my book, timeline right here. Second Age, all right? The rings themselves are created anywhere between 1500 and 1590. So this is set before, okay? The rings are created. So it's before... why am I fucking frozen on YouTube side? God damn YouTube. Anyway. Alright, so this series is set before the Rings of Power are created, because they haven't been created yet, right? And the One Ring isn't created until 1600. That's when Sauron reveals himself to Middle-earth. Like, surprise, bitches! I'm not Anantar, I'm actually Sauron, pretty much. It was frozen for me on my end, on my side, so I was just glitching for me. Thank you for the $1 super chat, Brian. Much appreciated. All right. Okay. So keep that in mind. But they have shown Tar Palantir. All right, and his repentance. Okay. They've shown him. Oh, shut up, Stig. They've shown him and his repentance. Okay. As well as Ar-Pharazôn kind of setting himself up to assume the throne. That doesn't happen. The repentance and so forth doesn't begin happening until 3175 in the Second Age. But we're seeing that here. All fucking ready. We're seeing that already. Okay? I'm just saying. I'm just fucking saying. So, logically, and when I say the word logically, it's very fucking loosely, because there's nothing logical about the series so far, is that it should be taking place shortly before 1500. Not long before 1500. Because they're building the forge. They're building a forge right now. Hey, Poet Saudi. But then you have events, or at least alluding to things that take place nearly, like, what, 1600 years later? This timeline is all over the place. If they were following the actual timeline, we wouldn't be at the point where we're potentially seeing the downfall of Numenor or like Tar Palantir. We wouldn't be seeing that. But they're not. They're like they're even introducing non-canonical characters, and I'll show you, Stig. Alright? But yeah, this is the only time we see Feminem. You know? Pretty much. That's it. Okay? Next scene we come to is this guy, Adar. Now, Stig, you've only seen this episode, so you didn't see the previous episode, but he is leading a group of orcs that enslaved elves and humans to dig these tunnels. Alright? He is a fallen elf who's leading these orcs, and they enslaved humans in these villages, somehow under the fucking watchful eye of elves who have heightened senses of sight and hearing. Alright? Enslaved these people, captured these people, and enslaved these people, and the elves never caught wind during all their fucking patrols over how many years, never fucking caught wind until now. And they enslaved the group of elves that were watching over this fictional village and the humans. When orcs were pretty much fucking bred to be foot soldiers and slaves. And when I say bred, I mean like rabbits. Pretty much. So they wouldn't need to enslave anyone else. They had the manpower. Yeah, I know. I looked him up. He's a decent actor. He actually puts effort into even in this role, but like he's a fucking rotten agent. I'm careful. Missed all the deforestation? Yeah. Somehow missed all that. Yeah. They put the black elf in chains. Think about that. They put the black elf in chains. Alright? And okay. He has the orc hold out his arm. and the orc's arm starts burning like he's a vampire. Orcs aren't vampires. They're weakened by the sun, but they don't burn. That could have been good Glorfindel. They don't burn. Yeah, they're not trolls. They're weakened. They're weakened. They can still move in the sunlight, but they choose either not to or to limit it because of the fact they are in a weakened state. That's why in the Fellowship of the Ring, the Fellowship was actually fucking shocked that there were orcs, Uruk-hai, traveling by day and at great speeds, not weakened by the sun. That's why they were fucking surprised. But they're treating orcs in this show, and they're no fucking different than the orcs we see in the Third Age during the events of Lord of the Rings. They're no fucking different, but they're treating them like vampires. Yeah. But now, like, oh my god, now they're back to being like, like vampires that hiss at the sun. Like that. Pretty much. I guess you'd call it a sun allergy, pretty much, but they're not. They're not like this, and it is been very inconsistent with the lore being set up in this series, like their own fucking lore. It's all over the place. Yeah. Yeah. So they can be out in daylight. They can be. They just would prefer not to be. But anyway, okay. This is all we see of. Well, this is not all we see of him in this episode, but like this is like at this point, okay. All right, now we have Hood Elf and his the single mama that he loves, telling the crowd, okay, this is our choice, pretty much. Or it's between two things. We either stand and fight. Because there's like a legion of sorts they're going to be coming to this tower of orcs to basically annihilate us, or Adar will let us live. All right, let us live, but we have to swear fealty to him. All right, those are the two choices. This scene happened so fucking fast. There was no real debate between this woman and the Waldreg character that we find out in the previous episode is a Sauron worshipper. All right? Comes out of fucking nowhere with this character. He's a Sauron worshipper, pretty much. All right? So she wants to stand and fight. Okay? So, hold on, let me see if I can get to the point where she starts. Say about 10 minutes in. Okay. Her speech. And crowd's ready to go, yeah, who will stand with me? 30 seconds. Yeah, who will stand with me? All right. Okay. Then they're ready to fight. Aye, let's do it. Aye. Then Waldrick steps in. Hold on, what does he say? He somehow sways. Okay, these are people that were forced from their homes, have seen the carnage left by the orcs. All right? And he somehow sways these half the fucking crowd that is a supposed enemy. I wish I could like play this. I'd say it's better to take our chances with a supposed enemy. Basically, I'd be sitting there going, motherfucker, they are the enemy. They look like they're ready to kill us unless we do this, pretty much. So it's not like they're going to be benevolent or anything like that. But he somehow sways half the crowd. Yeah, they're wearing identical caps, pretty much. He's the most sways, half the crowd. And also 30 fucking seconds to follow him. To basically serve Adar. Yeah, whatever, Sultan. I know you would. Alright? Okay, he's not your deliverance. Okay? Crowd won't believe the elf. I mean, granted, they're not exactly fans of elves, pretty much. He has 20 for charisma, yeah. And he gets... Alright? And third... Alright? Gets people to follow him. This whole scene is... a little over a minute and a half. A little over a minute and a half. Good writing would actually have you wanting to pretty much have a debate between these two. She says her things, he says another, and then the crowd just breaks up pretty much. Like, really? Really? Oh my god, Stig. But anyway. Half the crowd fucking leaves. Half the crowd fucking leaves. Like I said, they've seen what the orcs are capable of. They've seen what the orcs are capable of. And yet, they're like, oh, like, we'll be fine. It literally is like that gif with the dog and, like, the house is burning around him. Like, this is fine. But it's because reasons, right? It's because the plot calls for it, pretty much, because the certain characters have to be in a certain spot or whatever. It's because reasons. There's no, how do I put this? Coherency to this. There's no coherency to this at fucking all. I was watching this part going, okay, half the crowd is fucking stupid. All right, because reasons. Giving no other really, like, any indication of, like, I can believe these people would be stupid enough to believe this. No, they just follow this guy. Because why? Because, I don't know, they don't like an elf, even though they haven't seen anything to to show otherwise that he would be untruthful with them. Yeah, pretty much. Hey, Dave. I've seen shows where there's a few bad episodes and they're all equally bad. This is the first one where each subsequent episode just gets worse in the quality exponentially. Yes. Yeah, basically choose between granted, I have no feelings whatsoever for this character. She's like a nothing character in this show so far. Or the orcs. Pretty much. Yeah, I like everything. Everyone's a dick for no reason. It's reasons. It's because reasons. Alright, so half the crowd leaves. Waldrick tries to get Theo to join him. Where does he say here? It's our chance, it's our time, come on. He worships Sauron. Alright, half the crowd leaves. Then we're back to Numenor. Or Numenor in name only, pretty much. No worries, Orange Hat. Because reasons. It's like they're setting this place up. This place, geographically, is in the Southlands, but the villages themselves are non-canonical. Like, the names for the villages themselves in the Southlands are non-canonical. They were made up for this show. But the way it looks like it's being set up is that it's going to be eventually progress a little bit more east to become Mordor. That's what it seems like it's setting up. Yeah, 4 ships. Yeah. Yeah, Middle Earth. We're going to Middle Earth. We're not going to Middle Earth. We're going to Middle Earth, yeah. The entirety of the fucking episode. But anyway, back to Numenor. Okay, they're setting up. Isildur's upset that his father won't let him join the expedition. Alright, now this is after Isildur purposely got himself kicked out of the Sea Guards, even though the sea is always right. That fucking line. Wasn't chosen for the expedition. Now, to be fair to the actor, in particular, who plays Elendil, he's the only real one who does a decent job. Granted, he's not. Granted, he's Elendil in name only, but he's the only one that I've seen so far that does really a decent job with what he's given. Pretty much. With what he's given. Like, he at least puts an effort in from what I'm seeing. Okay? He at least puts an effort in. To play devil's advocate a little bit, he at least puts an effort in. So he chastises Isildur. And what, so, says, not till I've done something worthy of Numenor. It's like, what is that in your words? Okay? So he basically puts him in his place. Again, this is not Isildur. Not Isildur, but make Isildur like a teenager of sorts. Isildur is supposed to be like, what? This is a guy that's in his, at least the actor, is in his, like, what, 30s? Still acts like he's a teenager, pretty much. He still acts like it's not just a phase, Dad. Which he's supposed to be a phase you're supposed to have gotten past at this point, pretty much. But he hasn't. So, like, Elendil, to be not to be fair to this scene, because they butcher Isildur, the character, pretty much. But he is the only really likable character. And he puts him in his place in this scene. Does he belong to the Sea Guard? Yeah. And I do kind of like the line where he says, like, while you were feigning fidelity to the traditions of this isle, these men were living them. Again, this is where they butcher Isildur's character. Alright? I'm not saying I like the line, but I do give credit to the actor who's playing Elendil and how he delivers the line, things like that, because I actually believe he believes he's saying those words. He's not just phoning in the performance. I don't like the lines. I don't like how they handle Isildur. Oh, he's 26? Oh, well, whatever. He's supposed to be fucking past the it's not just a phase, Dad, still. I mean, I was well past that. Like, even before I left my fucking teens. But there it is. There it is, alright? So Isildur is, like, basically being told, no, you're not going. You're not fucking going. Fine, to serve. But you had your chance, and you fucking basically... So he's, like, telling him no. You still have crowds that are against going to Middle-earth. Against going to Middle-earth. And they call for a grimy Southlander. Warmongering elf. I did get a kick out of that line when they called Galadriel a warmongering elf. I will be honest. I did get a kick out of that line. Because, like, she's a fucking warmongering elf. Completely butchering, character assassinating Galadriel, but she's a fucking warmongering elf. Yeah, I know. I'm saying it's like they butcher Isildur in the sense. They butcher Isildur in the sense like doing this. They took our derbs, yes, pretty much. And they're yelling at our Farazan, who looks like Father Time again. Okay? This dude right here, Stieg, this dude right here is Kemen. He is our Farazan's son. He is our Farazan's son. Our Farazan, did not have a son. But they give him a son in the series. Who has the hots for... So the non-canonical son of our Farazan has the hots for the non-canonical sister of Isildur. Isildur never had... Yeah, I know, it sounds like Kevin. Oh my... If they named him like Kenan, I like, and he was killed, I'd be like, oh my god, they killed Kenny! Pretty much. I would love that. I would love that fucking meme to happen. But Isildur never had a sister. He had brothers. His brother's mentioned in this series, but he's not shown. Anarion. He had a brother. No fucking sister. No one. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, yeah, that's where I'm going to fucking rant. What was I gonna say? Oh, sorry, I have to respond to a text real fast. Yeah, but what's the point of having a sister? Just so they can put a hoo-ha on screen and say we're allies of women, pretty much. It's literally fan fiction under the guise of adapting anything Tolkien wrote. They are still lying through their teeth. They're still lying through their teeth. Anyway, yeah, still know nothing about her other than she's part of the Builders Guild somehow. Even though we're essentially told that she has the qualifications to be part of the Builders Guild, we don't see it. We don't fucking see it at all. She's just part of the Builders Guild. Anyway, all right. So that's. But the line that made me fucking laugh. All right, when Kemen says, "When I speak, his ears close up." All right, when I speak, his ears close up. And what does she say? Hold on, I gotta play it a little bit. So I gotta play it a little bit so we can see the line. Shit. So speak louder. So speak louder. Not how I would have written it, where I would have placed my hand on his heart and said, "Speak from this." No, just speak louder. And by louder means like, yeah, trying to blow up one of their ships. Because how loud can you fucking get? Speak louder. Really? Mind fucking blown. I'm blind. Well, open your eyes. Yeah, modernism at its finest. Yeah. Nothing like even remotely sappy. Like I said, placing her hand on his heart and said, "Then speak from this," or something like that. No, just speak louder. All right, throw a temper tantrum, Kemen. You'll get your way, pretty much. All right, but there it is. So speak louder. All right. Okay, we see Hellbrand foraging. He's a pretty good forager. Okay, he's asked to a meeting with Ar-Pharazôn in name only, Tarmuriel in name only, and Galadriel in name only, pretty much. And we find, because they're asking like a point where his people were attacked. Ar-Pharazôn leaves. Thanks for Hellbrand. I'm certain they need to like make the captions yellow or something. Find a way to make them yellow or something to stand out. Right? All right. Galadriel. Halbrand is finding out that Galadriel used him. So not only is Galadriel a Mary Sue to an extent, not only is she a Karen, but they made her pretty manipulative. And her excuse was because he used her first. So yeah, so quid pro quo, I guess, pretty much. But she used him, in a sense. She's manipulative. They make Galadriel manipulative. She's gaslighting. She played the victim card. Yes, she literally pulls the victim card in this episode. And they make her an emotional manipulator. Yeah, glad you're looking sus. Every which way where she's supposed to be reflected as a hero, they make her a villain. She's supposed to be the lead protagonist, right? She's supposed to be the one we root for because she's Galadriel. She's Galadriel. We're supposed to be rooting for her, but every fucking turn they take with this character, she's horrible. She's horrible. She has this look on her face going... She looks mad, yeah. But she has this look on his face going, like, looking at Hellbrand, like, yeah, try countering me. Try denying that. Pretty much. Try denying that. Yeah, make me look bad. Like, she has the crazy eyes, pretty much. Make me look bad, huh? Make me look bad. Yeah, come on. Make me look bad. That's what she's doing. This is how she looks at Hellbrand. A guy who's, of the two, more of a leader than she is. Now, that's not exactly saying a lot, but he's more of a leader than she is, because he at least understands diplomacy. He at least understands, hey, maybe don't bite the fucking hand that's offering to help you a little bit. No. He's more of a leader than she is, and yeah, she's looking at him like, try me, bitch. Yeah. She accuses him later on of using her or something like that, or at least because to get out of jail by somehow inform. I'm guessing through Ar-Pharazôn, informing where Galadriel was going when she went up to see Tar Palantir. That's what she accuses of him later. But so fucking what? All right, he kind of used it just so he could get out of jail and like live his life. She used him because she's on a blood quest. She's on a vengeance quest. That's what she uses him for, pretty much. So of the two, yeah, what he did is kind of shit. But at least he didn't put. He's like not putting other people's lives in danger. She is. She is. Yeah, they did. They really did. So like I said, he might have done a pretty shitty thing, but at least he's not putting other lives in danger. And she is, by convincing Muriel to send Numenorians to their deaths. Why? On the whim that Sauron might still be alive. Because that's all we have right now. It's just her word. That's all we fucking have. It's just her word. She's sending people to die. And does she care? No. Because all she cares about is taking Sauron down. She doesn't care about the fact that she's using people for that. She's using them as pawns for her vengeance quest. That's what fucking pisses me off. And this whole scenarios in this episode is what fucking pisses me off about her. She's not a leader. But they're trying to paint her as a leader. And in so doing, it's the complete fucking opposite. She's what not to do. But anyway, there's my rant in that scene. Alright? Yeah, so she speaks for Hellbrand. Yeah, there is a tempest in me. Galadriel, speaking for Hellbrand, putting words into his mouth. Like, I have no doubt come time he will do his parts. So I have no doubt come time he will do his parts. So there's nothing prescient about that or anything like that. No, she put him in the position where if he were to deny anything, it would make her look bad, which I wouldn't fucking care. It would make Muriel look bad because she's going on the faith of what Galadriel's saying. So it would make them both make Muriel look like a fucking idiot and make Galadriel look like a manipulator, which Galadriel is. But Muriel is supposed like she's not going to exactly be liking the fact that she's been used. But unlikable, yeah. Yes, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But anyway. Yeah, so he's mad. Okay, now we're back to the hobbits. Okay. I don't know why he's just easier in the dark. They find wolf prints. Oh, I gotta take a drink. They find wolf prints. Because wolves don't even look like wolves. The crappy CGI wargs look more like wolves than these do. But anyway, yeah, the murder hobbits, pretty much. So they... Alright? So somehow they got close enough to the other harfoots, alright? To the other hobbits. Because now we're back to this cunt right here. She literally... Again, their chant is not leaving any harfoots behind. That's their chant during the festival. They even have a part in the festival where they have a remembrance of those left behind for whatever reason, whether they were eaten or died or whatever, that had to be left behind. And what does this bitch say? Take their wheels and leave them. Because Sadek is like, what would you have me do? Because she's still complaining about the fact that they are still part of the group. And she literally says, it's like, she's like saying, like, bash them and take their ciggies. They're horrible. They're horrible. I don't know. In terms of the CGI, they look better than the wargs, but they still don't really look like wolves. It's like they basically cut corners on one in terms of the like the CGI effects, and then they got lazy with the other. I don't know. I bet you she's Sauron, yeah. Like she's literally telling the chief hobbit to rob him and leave him. Like, leave them at the mercy of the elements. Yes. I saw that line. I'm like, are you shitting me? You're all over the fucking place with these people. Well, not people or halflings, but still. Right? And she tries to lay the guilt trip on Sadek, alright? Because, like, because the father of the family that was left, semi-left behind is infirm in a way, because he broke his ankle trying to set up for the festival, so he's infirm in a way. He's crippled. He's crippled. So what's it going to take? Make a widow of somebody? An orphan? Like, she tries to lay the guilt trip on him, like saying, hey, like, if we let them stay with us, they're slowing us down, so we're going to risk other people dying. So let's leave them to die for the greater good. It's literally this clip right here. This is like her mentality.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
Shut it!
It's literally for the greater good. She tries to lay that guilt trip on him. But anyway. So she gets sent to go collect something. I don't know. Mushrooms or whatever. I don't know what the fuck she's collecting. I don't really fucking care. I tune out sometimes with this show. But she goes to collect something. And... okay, she's collecting fungi. That's what it looks like. She's collecting fungus. She's Nori and Poppy catch up to her. They still save this bitch. They still try to save this bitch because they're like one of the wolves close by. So they run. I don't know what they expected. What they expected hiding there. Like the wolves aren't going to get them here. Now, I'm not expecting them to exactly climb necessarily, but they could. They could here. Those branches are close enough that they could climb at least a little bit to get out of the way. They could, but they just stay at the bottom because you have to have fence. Take their wheels, yeah. Okay. Because they don't outright murder people, they just leave them to die. So it's kind of like, I guess, manslaughter for equivalent. I don't know. It's just like they're not technically guilty of murder. But anyway. Right? I don't know why they didn't fucking climb, but there they are. There they are. And the stranger comes in to save them. Somehow catches a wolf and tosses him. Alright? Here are the wolves. Like I said, the CGI for the wolves are better than... They're better. This CGI here is better than the wargs. But these are supposed to be wolves. Alright? Could you at least give them at least a little bit of like a nostril that actually look like they could be of the canine persuasion? Yeah, look at the nimble harfoots, yeah. It's like the face, like the overall CGI is better than the wargs, but the face, at least the nostril areas where it looks weird for me. Is where it looks weird for me. If they had given them like an actual kind of like look at the picture of it doesn't have to exactly look like the nostril of the canine species, but at least something close where you say, oh, I can tell that's like, a wolf, or at least supposed to be a wolf in Middle Earth. At least the wargs in the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, look like they could be of the canine group. These kind of don't. Just in that little bit. If they just fixed it just a little bit, would have been decent. Would have been decent as far as CGI goes. That's just my one critique of their look. That's just my one critique of those look. Yeah, these technically should have been the wargs, and the wolves should have been the wargs should have been the wolves. Because the wargs look more like wolfish than these do. These look like they could have been like wargs, but wargs weren't mentioned in the Second Age histories. But anyway. So yeah, these are the wolves, and not Gandalf throws one, catches one and throws one, and then uses power. Hold on, let me see if I can... Yeets all three by Hulk smashing the ground. Yeets all three by Hulk smashing the ground. It's the Middle Earth version of the thunderclap. Hey, Vertical Horizons. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He eats them by basically Hulk smashing the ground. I would have taken a force push at that point. At least it would have made fucking sense given Gandalf's abilities. But to Hulk smash the ground does not make any sense. I would have at least taken a semi-semblance of a force push. That at least would have made some semblance of sense. Not this. Go ahead. I mean, I could try emailing you the what I use. Find that clip. Hey, yeah, go for it. Staff would have been a little bit too obvious, but something that at least would have resembled him using some form of magic, not punching the ground. Yeah, pretty much. I would imagine. Alright, so he saves them. And he somehow injures his arm. I don't know what he did, but he somehow injured his arm. Okay? So, something's happening to his arm. Again, no explanation. We don't even know who this guy is. Nothing. So his arm is fucked up. Oh, and this scene right here, where they're practicing, they're working on their sword fighting. Yeah, pretty much. I'm saying, like, signs kind of point the way of, if he's not Gandalf, then he's going to be like a Gandalf-like character. I don't even think Tom Bombadil. I don't think so. But this scene is just holy fucking shit. Alright? Alright, so perhaps the elf would be willing to offer some instructions. Alright? Strong and simple. Stab, twist, and gut. Oh, how profound. How fucking profound. Pretty much. Alright? Alright. So it's basically challenges them. God damn it, Stig. Yeah, she is short. Galadriel's supposed to be 6'4". If they couldn't find an actress, then granted, it would be kind of difficult for them to find an actress that was other than Kate Blanchett that resembles Galadriel, that's close to being 6'4". But at least they could use special effects or practical effects. They found a fucking way to do that with practical effects in Fellowship of the Ring. There's a fucking way to do it for this show, and yet she's so fucking short. And Galadriel's supposed to be 6'4". Exactly. I'm saying there are actresses that aren't quite 6'4", but they're tall enough. And if you for some reason can't fucking find one tall enough, then use effects. But she's supposed to be 6'4", and he's supposed to be fucking tall himself. But no, can't have that. Yeah, sparring with real blades. Yeah, that's so fucking smart. Yeah, I love that. Like, I will dumb it down for you idiots. Stab them. That's literally how profound that whole fucking little speech was. Just stab them. That's how profound that fucker thing was. And hell, Stig, they should have like, where is she? What's her nationality? No, I should have gone to your country. You should have gone to Norway. Anyway. So he says basically, whoever scores flesh, he'll make a lieutenant, pretty much. Alright? So here's starts one of the worst choreographed fights ever. Alright. Here's one of the worst choreographed fights ever. Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit. Okay, look. Okay, she kind of matrixes here in this part of the scene. See, watch. Watch. She matrixed it. She just about matrixed it. Really bad attempt at John Woo. Fucking hell. I saw that and I was like, holy fucking shit. They want to turn her into Neo. Yeah, pretty much knows the cables on the down, fat guy. Yeah. Yes, I'm saying, he stops with just one strike. And, no one would fucking do that. They want to score flesh, right? They want to score flesh. And, he's in this, one whack. Then stop. Then another whack. then stop. No one will fucking do that in a real life scenario. Even just for like, you know, a bet to be lieutenant. No one would fucking do that. Yeah, kill both Volume 3. No one would do that. Sorry, I minimized it for a second. All right. I wish I could play this, but I might get hits. I thought the whole point of this scene was for her to teach them the moves, and she doesn't really. She doesn't really. The whole point of this scene is for her to demonstrate her prowess over them, and then somehow this guy here eventually scores a hit on her. But isn't she supposed to be teaching them? The whole lesson revolved around, hey, stab an orc. That's what the whole lesson revolved around. Stab an orc. And then, like, it leads to this. I thought the whole point was for her to... Because she's, like, commenting on how, like, horrific their movement is. And I thought the whole point was for her to teach them. And she's not. She doesn't. She doesn't in this entire scene. It's literally just to show how awesome Galadriel is. Again. Yes, one misstep. She comments on like how like, they need training, and then she's doing this shit. Even as much as I find the actor who played Elendil one of the more likable characters in the show, even he's an idiot because he should have been like, whoa, wait a minute, no, you're supposed to be teaching my men, but he doesn't. Oh, Arcasol, trust me, I haven't gotten to the worst part, so stay tuned, Arcasol. Stay fucking tuned. But this episode, while of the episodes in this Arcasol, I'm going to bash Mazza with every Tolkien book I have to include basically both fictional and non-fictional shit. Alright? Because this is the only episode so far where the story actually begins to progress, which makes it arguably the fucking best, even though that bar is lower than shit right now. I'm going to bash Mazza. Alright? But I haven't gotten to the worst part. Yet. But this episode, even in comparison to the other 4, is still fucking bad. Yeah, they do. Yeah. I want whenever they're smoking. Pretty much. But anyway, okay. So I wish I could play this on. I'm going to kind of... So here's where the group kind of gets smart and says, hey, let's all go after her. Alright? Let's all go after her. About balance rather than strength. Okay? Look at that. What's she supposed to be teaching? I don't know. Yes, they're fighting in the streets. There's like I thought again. They are a volunteer army. They're a volunteer army. But you think that hey, like there would maybe be some training grounds, things like that. So Sealer finds out that the elf's fighting in the streets. Oh yeah, here's a shot that Lyndon commented on where he looked at this guy in the back looks like he's looking at Galadriel's ass, pretty much. But look how short she is in comparison to these men. Galadriel should be towering over these guys, if anything, or at least be taller than them. And look at their. This is supposed to be. I don't know what type of armor is that. What's leather going to fucking do? I know, Arcasol, what ass? I know. I'm saying this. That's what he's looking at. That's what it looks like he's looking at. Numenor. But I'm looking at this going... Let me see if I can play this. All right. Look at that. All the movement in this is like, you can tell based on the other actors, like they're trying to hit their marks. They're trying to hit their marks, pretty much. She somehow blocks 4 fucking blades with 2 swords. She somehow blocks using 2 blades, she somehow blocks 4 swords. Yeah, but they're not supposed to be sailors. At least, put it this way. At least indicates that there's armor that they'll be wearing once they reach land, but they don't indicate anything like that. I get sailors. I get but these are supposed to be like... But they don't give any indication that they're carrying at least any type of armor that would be worn once they reach land. Or anything like that. That's my point. It doesn't look good. But even then, it doesn't really look good. Because these guys, even though 2 of these guys in the scene were former Sea Guard cadets, they're going to be foot soldiers in a sense. So they're going to have to find something for them to wear other than the leather once they reach ground. Once they reach Middle Earth and they actually are going overland towards the Southlands to fight orcs. Because arrows are going to penetrate that shit. I'm just saying. See, looks like they hit their marks. Woo! Look at that. It's all about just them hitting their marks. You can literally tell. You can literally see the moves. It's not fluid at fucking all. Hello, bot, for the best adult dating site. Thank you, Trey. But you can tell. You can tell where the marks are. You can tell. Yeah, sword would even cut through it. So it's basically... If they demonstrate that they have armor other than this, then I will believe. I'm not saying this looks good, but that they would be believable. They would be believable. But this, no. Sword, even, like I said, even an arrow would penetrate this shit. And they're sending these boys there like that. Or even chainmail. Or even like at least having something where it's like, okay, we're carrying this with us. Chainmail or something like that. Yeah, crouching warg in smog, yes. Yeah, I'm sure he's like torn into shit. Alright? See? Look! Another Matrix move! Another Matrix move! And she cuts the net. And he somehow gets flesh. He scores flesh. With basically a sucker punch of sorts. Which again, they would have been doing all along, because they wouldn't be just like one hit, pause, one hit, pause, one hit, pause. They wouldn't be doing that, no. Yeah. Of course she smiles during the fight, because like she's demonstrating how powerful women are. I see that he's ripped his scored flesh. Right? That's the fight. Again, she's commented literally beforehand on how imbalanced their technique is. how imbalanced their technique is. So instead of teaching them, actually teaching them moves, so they develop muscle memory and shit like that, it's this shit. And the entirety of her quote-unquote lesson was stab an orc. Stab, twist, and gut. Literally, that was the entirety of the fucking lesson. I would not be surprised. I would not be fucking surprised. And she just kicked their ass. He scored a lucky strike. But she just kicked their ass. And they're gonna be ready to go? They're gonna be ready to go fight orcs? Really? Yeah, stick them at the pointy end was better advice. Yeah. Alright. So, next part. Halbrand demonstrated that he knows how to use a sword. Surprise, surprise. There's his name, Kemen, alright? He's trying to convince... This scene is like, basically... The entirety of the scene is he's trying to convince his father not go. And the only positive I'll say about this scene, and it's like it's a real stretch when I say positive, is that it's setting up our Pharazôn to be the snake that he is, pretty much. Because it's like anybody who knows the character knows he's not one to be emulated. He's not one to aspire to or anything like that. He's basically a snake in the grass. Alright? That character is a snake in the grass. So anyone who knows the lore going into this knows he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. But I can't help, again, from my stream prior to this, I can't help being hypersensitive to the fact that they race swapped Tar Muriel and still made him out to be the evil white male. Like I said, yes, I know the character is not good, but at the same time, it's like he could have still been shown as not good and not have race swapped Tar Muriel. But they did that. They did that purely for identity politics and to make him look even worse. That I'm calling it there. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Someone else asked that. They're fighting in the streets and there should be a training ground, at the very fucking least. At the very fucking least, a field for them to train in so they're not risking harming any civilians. Because they're fighting with real weapons. But our Pharazôn, alright? Our Pharazôn, when Muriel's father dies, alright? When he dies in the lore, our Pharazôn sets it up that Muriel is forced into marriage, marrying him, so he can assume the throne and become the ruler of Numenor. He's not a good guy. I'm going to stress that. He's not a good guy. He's not someone. So his character here being a snake in the grass, okay, that's lore accurate. But then you take this into account, and it's like, you can't help but be hypersensitive to that little identity politics angle that they have going on. Okay, because he's talking about, Muriel. The trick of mastering the current is to know which way it'll turn next, so he's... Okay. He says... when all this is ended, elves will take orders from us. Can go to war for Galadriel if she wishes, but he's going for Numenor. Alright? So he's basically setting up that he's going to basically usurp power. Okay? Okay? Like I said, to play devil's advocate for just a teeny bit, okay, he's a snake in the grass. I'm not denying that. But that whole angle? Yeah, I know, fucking hell. Yes. Yeah, eventually he does. Eventually he does, because when Sauron is captured, Sauron is imprisoned on Numenor. And Sauron manipulates and sways Ar-Pharazôn and convinces Ar-Pharazôn to take the ships, Numenorian ships, not all of them, but like Numenorian ships, and sail against the Valar. Sauron convinces Ar-Pharazôn to literally sail against angels and God. Alright? To sail west. Ar-Pharazôn wouldn't have cared about Middle-earth. He wouldn't necessarily care about Middle-earth. If they keep that, that's what's going to happen. That's Numenor's fall. That's Numenor's fall. He wouldn't fucking care about Middle-earth. He really does not care about Middle-earth. He cares about assuming power in Numenor, and then he cares about more power going against the Valar. So him doing this doesn't make any sense. I said the only thing about this that makes sense is the fact that they don't show him as a good guy who's misunderstood or anything like that. Like, he is a fucking snake in the grass. But he wouldn't care about Middle-earth. Yeah, they did. They pretty much did. They're sending 500 soldiers, 50 men in the Southlands. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. They believe Galadriel, and they somehow believe this guy is a king. Who could very well be Sauron in disguise, which, again, would be stupid. But who could very well be Sauron in disguise. And they make these characters just stupid. Making stupid decisions. Right? So this guy... Okay. This scene is, like, really short, but Palantir, her father, feels like the island is still in danger, pretty much. She thinks she's averting the disaster, pretty much, but he's saying, like, darkness is still coming. So that's all that scene. Really short. And this part here, I don't know what he's doing to heal himself. But he freezes his arm. Okay, he freezes his arm. I don't know, like, what poison or whatever's going through his arm. I guess the wolf injured him or something. I have no fucking clue. No. Not. Sorry, winky winky woo. Yeah, pretty much. Again, yeah. Hey, Ragfear. We're trying to find logic in this show, and there is none. But he freezes his arm. Okay? She sees this happening. And what does the little fucking idiot do? She touches his arm and then has the nerve to look scared. Alright? So he touches his arm, and she can't move it. She's seeing this happen. She's seeing this happen and then has the nerve to look scared when she can't remove her hand. When he's fucking freezing his arm, what looks like to be like some magical type form of dry ice. She has a nerve. For member berries, Jules Verne. For member berries, pretty much. Because remember the gray? Remember that? Remember the gray marshes? Member berries, right? Member berries. Yeah. That's it. I'm saying this you're literally seeing this on screen right now, Arkasul. This fucking happened. His arm is somehow injured. We don't know what exactly is happening. It looks poisoned or whatever. Something's coursing through, and he's freezing his arm to heal. She touches it like a little short bus kid, and then has the nerve to look shocked when she can't remove her hand. And then he yeets her. He yeets her. And then she runs away. Alright? Okay? So she can't remove her hand. Let me see if I can show the yeeting. Watch. Boom! He sang some words. And yeets her. And she has the nerve to look scared. I'm sorry, Arkasul. She has the nerve to look scared. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be at least semi-scared because of what's happening, but the fact that, like, she put her hand on it, like, what did you expect to happen, child? What did you expect? And then she runs away. She runs away after she basically told him that he wasn't peril. So, like, what's he going to think now? What's he going to think now? Yes. So what's he going to think now? She runs away from him after she told him that he wasn't dangerous. Is she going to have the nerve to act surprised that he thinks he's dangerous now? I swear the writing in this show is just fucking atrocious. Alright. Alright, now we're here. This is the part where I'm going to start ranting. At least, not necessarily this scene, but close to it. This is like, this is the dinner with Durin and Lyndon. Okay? With Gil-galad, Elrond, and Celebrimbor. Let me get a shot. Alright? Okay? She must be a Took, yes. Alright? So we have this dinner, pretty much, to kind of mend relations with the dwarves, things like shit like that, pretty much. So, I don't know if you mean by in terms of this show, but harfoots are pretty much, they're hobbits, and they're the hobbits that we see at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring. And you wouldn't think that to look at them and how their level of personal hygiene. But this dinner, right? So basically kind of mend relations. Durin gives him a little spiel about the table. We find out that it's a lie at the end of the episode, but whatever. I'm not going to touch on that. Gives Gil-galad a spiel about the table so Gil-galad says that they're going to give them back the table. Right. Here's where we fucking find out the motivation for Gil-galad and Celebrimbor. And this motivation makes both of them, Gil-galad in particular, but both of them look like manipulative bastards. Alright? Hey, Dragon Wolf. I know, he's supposed to be younger than Galadriel. He looks older. Alright? Because they give the reason why. They give the reason why they initially... Which doesn't make any fucking sense if you think about the writing. Because if you think about the writing, at least what was set up in the second episode, if Elrond... They would have had to bank on Elrond recommending using the dwarves to begin with. If Elrond hadn't done that, then what good would this plan have fucking been? If you think about it. If you fucking think about it, now this plan right here is like fucking lore breaking to the high heavens. But if you think about if Elrond had not recommended using the dwarves for labor, mending the relations there, then this whole plot of Gil-galad and Celebrimbor would have been the fucking point. They needed the dwarves for this, all right? And there's the reason why. Trey is touching on it. Okay, we find out the reason why, and is that they know the dwarves have been mining Mithril. Right? Talks about the song of the roots of Hithgalir. Okay. Battle. Blah. Retreat. So fucking stupid. That's when Sunclaim had the Lost Cimmerals. Right. So you have one side, an Elven Warrior protecting the tree, and on the other side, a Belrog. Okay? Arcasol, are you still in the chat? Are you still in the chat? Yeah, they're making the elves conniving. All right. So you got an elven warrior and a Balrog fighting over this tree. Okay. It's seeped. They say that, okay, that this light seeped down the roots into the mountain depths. Okay, seeped down the roots. Oh, I know, but they're making them conniving in this episode. Trust me. Watch, Arkasul. Mountain depths, where for centuries now it has waited. There, okay, then you admit the dwarves did find it. You know, this I promised Durin, right? And what is it that Durin found? Okay. Arkasul. Durin found Mithril. Alright? First thing noticed, okay, the Blight. Okay. We just took notice of it prior to Galadriel's return. I'm going to play this, alright? Okay. We hope that by sending her away, and so bringing to the end the last vestiges of war, we might arrest this decay. Okay, the Blight on the tree in Lindon. Beside by every effort. Okay. Our light is fading. I ask again for the last time. Did the dwarves find the ore or not? Okay. Hope is never. If the elves abandon Middle Earth now. Okay. Okay, so he's saying they need the ore, otherwise they'll either have to leave Middle Earth or their light will fade and they will basically cease to exist as they are. And the ore is Mithril. The ore is Mithril. That's what Durin has found. Mithril. So screw the light of Arendelle. All Frodo would have had to do is flash the orcs with his armor. I told you yesterday. This is completely lore breaking. They're talking about Mithril. That's the ore they're talking about. So screw the light of Arendelle, the gift that Galadriel gives Frodo. And for those of you who don't know, here I'll stop sharing this and share this screen real fast. The Star of Arendelle, okay, was a light created by the Cimmeril, carried into the sky by Arendelle the Mariner, and particularly visible in the morning and evening, so forth. That's the power that Galadriel gives to Frodo. All right, I'm not going to go into the entirety of this, but that's the power. Okay, that's the light. That is the light. That's the light, not the Mithril. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's the light. That is the power. All right? And for those of you who don't know too much about Mithril, just real fast, the only reason the elves would have coveted it, and any fucker, okay, now I know, now I'm not calling you guys, like, when I say any fucker, I'm not calling you guys that, but I'm saying, like, the showrunners and the writers. If they didn't know, really, they didn't really know, all they would have to do is just Google search, and you literally find enough information out there, even with my knowledge, I could say it, but I want to show you guys. All they would have had to do is look it up and say, hey, the only reason why the elves would have coveted this is because they wanted to put it in jewels and like basically as ornation. It's literally what they would have used it for. Nothing to do with any of their light whatsoever. Nothing to do with anything that would have kept them on Middle Earth. Nothing. Mithril. Yes, it's Mithril. Mithril. Nothing whatsoever to do with anything that would have involved the elves on Middle Earth as far as their existence. And all these writers would have had to fucking do is Google. Thank you. That's all they had to do. But they didn't. Maza, I will fucking bash you. Welcome you, Gronk. Welcome you, Gronk. So Arcasol, when I said the writers had no fucking understanding of Mithril, this is what I'm talking about. When I said in your chat yesterday, all I'll say is this, is they have no understanding of Mithril. This is it. So not only do they make Gil-galad conniving, you remember Gil-galad, right? He's the one that led the elves during the last alliance against Sauron, that leader. Not only did they make him conniving, I'll get to it. They make Celebrimbor conniving, too. Celebrimbor used Elrond. But now we're back in Numenor. Okay, the soldiers are hanging out. Isildur tries to get his friend, who's now lieutenant, to let him in, pretty much. I'm not going to, like, go through the entirety of this episode, of the scene, but that's pretty much the gist of it. He wants his friend, who's now been made a lieutenant, to get him in, like sneak him onto a boat. The guy won't do it. Alright, that's the gist of the scene. Isildur says, like, you get 2 hits on me, or a hit on me, or 2 hits, or whatever. The guy takes him up on it. Says, but no. Then you see the non-canonical son of Ar-Pharazôn being a domestic terrorist. And who, as far as he knows, he does not know if anybody's on that boat that he's going to set fire to or anything like that. So he could have killed someone or someone's. But hey, he's speaking louder, right? He's speaking louder. All right. So he goes to burn the ship. And who's hiding there, trying to sneak his way in? Isildur, who tries to stop him. It doesn't work because the lantern falls. Then ends up saving the domestic terrorist. All right. Then ends up saving the domestic terrorist. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm going to bash you with this, Maza. You dog. Anyway. Blows up the ship. Basically, the domestic terrorist. And Isildur saves him and then lies. Alright? Now, saves him and lies. Presumably, I would imagine, because, hey, maybe this guy will get me on the ship if I do a noble act, which ends up happening. Isildur ends up going. Yeah. Alright. So he lies. Because if they hadn't started gaslighting people, continued gaslighting people and attacking fans, I wouldn't have watched it. I wouldn't have given this the time of day. But the fact that people were still believing that this show had anything at all to do with Tolkien is the reason why I watched it, to show people this has nothing fucking to do with Tolkien. At fucking all. But that's Isildur, who lies and lets a domestic terrorist go. Doesn't matter if the domestic terrorist is the son of the Chancellor, because our Pharazôn is a Chancellor in this series. Doesn't fucking matter. Lies. Lies for his own purposes so he can go as part of the expedition. That's it. This is the Isildur that we're supposed to admire later on in the Third Age, for the most part, because he's the one who ultimately defeats Sauron. By taking out the broken blade, alright? The shard, and slicing off Sauron's fingers, particularly the one with the ring on it. This dude, we're supposed to admire. Yeah, and Isildur's, his dad just doesn't question, hey, why were you, I don't know, somehow, why were you out there? Why were you, or anything like that? Why, why are you both out here in the middle of the night somehow, and like one is saving you from a ship? Isn't that a little bit suspicious? Isn't that a little bit suspicious? Oh, wait until you watch the episode, Arc of Soul. Well, sadly, we all have to be disappointed. I with the show and you with the no bikini ramps. Just saying. But anyway. Okay, so doesn't question him. Okay. Our Pharazôn likens it to someone trying to sway Muriel to not let them go, not for them not to go. Okay, the gist of this scene pretty much is this is where Galadriel again becomes a Karen. All right, let me hold on. Let's see if I can get. Our Pharazôn says this. He says like maybe we should wait a little bit. She's like, look at like how she delivers these lines. She basically guilt trips the queen. It's like, remember your face? I know. Like, remember your face? Yeah, remember you believe me? Remember? I mean, be stupid enough to go back on your word now, right? Right? Pretty much like she all but gives her the crazy eyes in this scene. I still have a fucking half an hour left in the show. Okay. And Muriel's hiding the fact that her father is not exactly liking this. Alright. So she decides, basically, I don't know what it is with First Light for everything, but she decides First Light will make a final decision, alright? And it's all going to be left up to Hellbrand, pretty much. It's all going to be left up to Hellbrand. Okay? See to it Lord Hellbrand attends. Now here's where, again, Celebrimbor, it's shown that Celebrimbor used Elrond as well. But at the same time, if you think about the writing, how the story was set up in the second episode, if Elrond had not recommended the dwarves as labor, what fucking use would this plan have been? They would have still had to have found a way to get to the dwarves. So if Elrond hadn't recommended them, how would this plan have fucking worked? Oh, I pointed that out in like one of my spoiler reviews, pretty much, that she's not a regent, or one of my reviews, she's not a regent. And I brought up the definition of regents and things like that. That she was not a regent. But I brought that up, yeah. But they call her Queen Regent, and they call our Pharazôn Chancellor. Who else was a Chancellor? Wink, wink. Thinking about 1930s Germany. Who else was a Chancellor? Anyway. Alright? Okay. So Celebrimbor now is duplicitous. The character in the actual lore, who is friend of the dwarves, who was taught forging skills by the dwarves. Celebrimbor is a master forger. had that taken away from him, and now he's a conniving bastard, much like Gilgalad in this episode. Close. So he's a conniving bastard. Alright? He knew. I begged him to allow you into our confidence from the start, but hacking forbidden. Again, Mithril. This is not how Mithril works. This is not how Mithril works. If it worked in any way like this, all Frodo would have had to do, as I said, was to flash every fucking orc he saw. But that's not how it works. Golf clap. Anyway. That somehow he's tested it. Didn't the dwarves just fucking find this? So how has Celebrimbor been able to test it? Because we just discovered in the previous episode, this is what Durin has been digging for. How has Celebrimbor been able to fucking test it? Because Elrond is hiding the piece of ore that he has. So where did they get anything to fucking test? Where? Where? Sorry, knocked over something. Yeah, you heard me say flashing orcs. I have to take my allergy medicine, I'm sorry. Didn't expect to go this long. But they dug better tunnels, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. I was watching this episode and going, I would take the shitty writing and like the piss poor storytelling, but then they combine that with the blatant lore breaking in this episode, and nothing about it makes any fucking sense. Nothing about it makes any fucking sense. That's why they're taking their gerbs, yes. They have 3D printed, yeah. I said, if you actually stop to think about it, it really doesn't make any fucking sense how he was able to test this. How he was able to test this. How he was able to test anything. What, did he, like, pickpocket Elrond, test it, and then put it back in his pocket? What? But anyway, he says he tested it. We believe if we can secure vast quantities of it quickly, enough to saturate every last elf in the light of the Valar once more. Again, that's not how Mithril works. Mithril is not the fucking light of the Valar. Because then what's the point of the light of Arendelle? That gift that Galadriel gives Frodo that protects him in the darkness during the Lord of the Rings. What's the point of that gift if all they needed was Mithril? And so he says he was there. Okay. He's old enough to remember the night that Elrond's father set sail, because Star of Arendelle. Remember that? The Star of Arendelle. If you look up that lore, it's actually pretty fascinating. It's fascinating. But that's the Star of Arendelle that he's describing when Elrond's father set sail. Alright? Okay. This is, and Elrond's full name is Elrond Half-Elven. For those who don't know, it's Elrond Half-Elven. That's what you're seeing, Arcasol. That's what you're seeing. Mithril is light-infused stone. That's what they're setting up. That's what they're claiming. But Elrond's name is Elrond Half-Elven. Just like for those who don't know. Yeah, I know. He calls him a man. So this is where he guilts Elrond. Because he's the only one who could do it. So basically, you're the only one who can convince your friend Durin. You're the only one who can convince your friend Durin to let us use the Mithril. Yeah. So, not everyone knows that about Elrond. Yeah, just lie to your friend, yeah. No, it was just a blade. He just happened to wound the Witch King. Because here's how the prophecy is like, no man can kill me. Well, he wasn't killed by a man, he was killed by a halfling. He was wounded by a halfling and then killed by a woman. So it's kind of like the twist on the prophecy. So the blade that Merry was using was a regular blade. He just happened to be not a man and was able to wound the Witch King. Pretty much. So here's where she tries... This is, again, where she finally admits that she can't stop. It's literally a vengeance quest with her, and she's willing to put people's fucking lives in danger because she can't stop going after Sauron. That's fucking it. She literally admits in this scene. Okay, this part, we'll get to this part. It'll come like there'll be another scene after this, basically. But these are the Southlanders that are gonna bow to Adar, pretty much. The fallen elf. The fallen elf, pretty much. Okay? At this point, kind of. If that's the... Well, let me see. I don't know. Not really sure what blade he... I gotta read it again. But even then it's primarily because that he was a halfling and he was able to wound the Witch King. So I don't think the blade itself wouldn't have been made from Mithril. I'm just saying that it wasn't that. Because that's not how Mithril would work, pretty much. Anyway. But anyway, okay, so we'll be seeing more of these people. But anyway, to find the light, we must first touch the darkness. That spell is like profound as why does a stone sink or a stone sink and a boat float? Because a boat looks up. Fucking hell. As also as profound as here's how you defeat an orc: stab him. Anyway. So she's admitting that she lost her brother. Okay. Okay. Look at, like, she has the crazy eyes. God damn, she has the crazy eyes. She has the crazy eyes. I'm like, really? We're going to follow this bitch into certain death? But anyway. You asked me to go to one place I swore never to return. Why do you keep fighting? Hold on, let me say take it back. Because I cannot stop. Look at that. Look at her face when she says that. Because I cannot stop. Look at her face. Resting Tempest face. Yes, it's something a villain says. Yeah, pretty much. The company I led... Oh my god, I should have used that for a thumbnail. Look at that face. The company I led mutinied against me. They mutinied against you, bitch, because you were, like, you didn't care about their well-being. You were literally searching... You were chasing windmills for centuries. You were ordered to go back. You blatantly ignored orders to return. Didn't care that your company fell or would have fallen or anything like that. She's playing the victim card. She's playing the victim card here. Yeah, she had no problem nearly leaving that guy in the cold, saying we don't stop. And then she has like the audacity to say that they mutinied against her. She was ready to leave them behind. She was ready to leave them behind. She plays the victim card here. Okay, fine. I'll get it off. My closest friend conspired with the king to exile me. She's playing the victim card here, pretty much. And each of them acted as they did because I believe they could no longer distinguish me from the evil I was fighting. She's supposed to be a fucking hero. She's supposed to be a fucking hero, and then she's like literally admitting right here is that they could not distinguish between her and the evil I was fighting. And they were supposed to root for her. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. So she plays the victim card here and admits I'm a bad guy. Yeah, viewers can't distinguish her from evil either, pretty much. Well, see, in actual lore, yes, she was never a warrior. But in Rings of Power lore, she's a warrior. I'm a warrior. And she's going to look at Hellbrand and go, I likes you, and I wants you. Now we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Pretty much. Sorrow cannot ease my pain. I don't know how you find peace just like on a vengeance quest. I don't know how you find peace on a vengeance quest, but there it is. Alright, that's the scene. Alright. So the only thing in this scene, really, is this guy here thinks Adar is Sauron. Thinks Adar is Sauron, and Adar, like, flips his shit. Okay. Hold on. You are Sauron, are you not? Which... in this episode, no, Arcasol, no, they don't. Not in this episode, but like it's alluding to the fact that at some point, I think they are going to be physically attracted to each other. As a possibility. I'm not exactly calling it, but at least it looks like the possibilities are setting up for a physical attraction. Semi-romantic one. Things like that. You know, member berries with Arwen and Aragorn in a sense. But yeah. Which he's supposed to be married to Celeborn at this point. Anyway. So he gets angry. And like... choke slams him. And the guy's like, I don't care who you are, I'll serve you. I'll serve you. Alright? I'll serve, I'll serve you then, whoever you are, pretty much. Oh my god. They haven't even shown Celeborn in this show. They haven't even shown him in this show. So if he's around, she's cheating on him. And she abandoned her daughter. So. Okay? So we don't see it. It's like, God forbid we see any violence in this series, pretty much, or actual genuine violence. But he tells this Waldred character, the moron who's serving the fallen elf, to kill this kid. All right? Okay, you're going to serve me? Kill him, pretty much, in so many words. So as far as we know, he did. We don't see it, but as far as we know, he did. Yeah, Baron Luthien, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So we don't see anything. Okay? Hood Elf is teaching Theo how to shoot. And somehow, Arcasol, do you remember the blade? The shard that Theo found? That somehow that Waldred, that Craven bastard found, that Morgul blade. Somehow Hood Elf recognizes it because in this watchtower, okay, Theo shows him the hilt. In this watchtower, see if I can get a good image of it, where the elves were watching over the Southlanders, because basically they would have taken over this tower, because in the show's lore, the villagers in the Southlands worshipped Morgoth. And somehow, because he recognized the hilt, it's somehow the hilt that fucking matches this shit right here. It's a key to something. Yeah, it's like their version of a Morgul blade, pretty much. But that right there is in the tower that the elves had occupied, watching over the Southlands. Mystery boxes. So somehow that's the same blade. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that totally sounds Tolkien, yeah. Yeah, it's like the Rise of Palpatine knife. I'm not shitting you. Watch the episode. Hood Elf recognizes the hilt, primarily the hilt, and that's in the tower. And thinks it's a key to something. Not I don't know if it's actual key, but it's key to plot. Okay? He doesn't know to what, but it's important. See? This thing is a key, conjured by some forgotten craft of the enemy to enslave your ancestors. By some forgotten... Oh, fucking hell, yeah. Alright? The enemy commander spoke of becoming a god, of giving the orcs a home in these lands. Certain... on. Our enemy knows your son has what he needs to enact it. Somehow this blade is key. Somehow they need this blade. For whatever reason. And they are literally setting up a Helm's Deep light. I'm going to call it right here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm calling it right fucking here. They're setting it up that this is going to be a Helm's Deep light situation. There's going to be a Helm's Deep light situation. They're going to be completely outmanned. by a bigger army. By a bigger army, and guess who's going to show up? Guess who's going to show up just in the nick of time? I'm calling it right fucking here. I'm calling it right fucking here. That they're going to set up a Helm's Deep situation, and the Numenorians are going to be like Eomer and the Rohirrim who went with them, showing up at the first light of the 5th day to turn the tide. I'm calling it. I'm calling it right here. This is a Helm's Deep member berry right fucking here. Yep, and they're also setting up the Last Alliance too. It's a complete ripoff. Okay, she's thinking about swearing fealty, but blah blah blah. Just gonna skip over the scene and get to. Look at that. Hold on. It says. Hold on. Hold on. She says something, and when they march upon us, the tower will fall. Tower. So that's gonna be important, right? So the orcs, they start to march. Okay. Here's where Elrond admits, to Durin, the reason why. Okay, Durin is basically suspects that they're hiding something from him. So he's not stupid. He made up the thing about the table because Disa wanted a table for a long time. So he's telling Elrond just come out with it. I'm gonna get to the line right here. Here it is, Trey. Okay, he's telling Elrond just to come out with it. Why did you come to see me? Pretty much, and Elrond admits the reason why. And again, lore breaking with Mithril, that if they don't obtain this ore, if the elves don't obtain this ore, then they will cease to exist pretty much. So they either have to leave Middle Earth, or they will basically cease to exist. Yeah, he did. Arkasul, he did. It's right there on my screen. Right there on my screen. He said it. Okay, and that's basically the gist of the scene, pretty much. Elrond tells him, this is the reason why. Durin says, Durin's going to help him, decides to help him. It says, don't thank me yet, thank me after I convince my father. Right? Okay, and this pretty much ends with the Numenorians leaving. Okay. Halbrand decides that he's going to go fight. This scene reminded me, kind of like an opposite spectrum kind of thing, of the scene when Faramir and his men are riding down the streets and they're throwing flowers. For that scene, it's sad. But for this scene, it's they're cheering. That's what that scene reminded me of. They ripped off that scene and put a positive spin, positivity to it. Because, hey, cheering, going to your deaths. Yay! Yeah, for what? For what? The woman of an elf? That you were just yelling about an episode prior? Okay, that's what that scene reminds me of. See? They're throwing flowers. Sister sees the Isildur. He's going. The whole point of her in this episode was just she's getting hit on by Ar-Pharazôn's non-canonical son. Pretty much. That's the entirety of her arc so far. And then she's been allowed into the Builders Guild. Why? We don't know. We don't know how good she is. And this right here, okay. Isildur is basically has to sweep out the stables for his labor. You see that star on her armor? Do you see that star on her armor? Okay. I saw this and nope. That eerily looks like Feanor's symbol. That eerily looks like Feanor's symbol. The Star of Feanor. Whom Galadriel despises. So, first off, it doesn't make any sense for her to accept the armor, even if it's a gift. It wouldn't make any sense for her to accept this armor because of that mere fact. Mere fact that it has the symbol of her enemy, pretty much. She does not like Feanor. Feanor's a bastard. Okay? She does not like Feanor. So not only was she not accepted just based on those grounds alone, but how the fuck do the Numenorians have this? It can't be the armor she lost in the first episode, because how did it make its way all across the Sundering Seas? And the elves took it off her, which means the elves had it on the boat. The elves had it on the boat. Unless they tossed the armor overboard, she wouldn't have that armor. That's not her armor. I'm saying, I know, but I'm saying, like, in terms of actual lore, she did not like Feanor. She would not have accepted that. And yes, it looks crushable. But she would not have accepted that, because that is the Star of Feanor. And how do the fucking Numenorians have it? It makes no fucking sense. But I think it's the end of the episode. Yeah. Oh, good. They're sailing. 3 fucking ships. Bunch of small ships. They're done. That's the episode. Oh. Yeah, I know. I'm saying it just doesn't make any fucking sense at all. 10 minutes just to leave. Fucking hell. But that's it. That's the episode. So, Arcasol, if you decide to watch it, have fun. But massive lore breaking in this episode. Massive lore breaking in this episode. If I weren't so emotionally drained right now, Mazza, I'd threaten to choke you. But that's the episode. That's the episode. 3 episodes left. Soul. 3 episodes left. That's the only reason I'm keeping any mental sanity whatsoever. Doesn't mean I won't choke you out. Yeah, 5 hours is shite. Alright. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the episode 5 of Rings of Power. You're welcome. Thank you. But anyway, 5 hours. Longer than the Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition, longer than the Two Towers Extended Edition, longer than Return of the King Extended Edition of fucking nothing. I'll do that off stream. I don't know how trigger happy Amazon is with the copyright claims, and I don't want them claiming this. But I'll watch it after the stream, and I'll give my thoughts on Twitter or something, or I'll give my thoughts in another video or on the live stream. But there it is. That's it. That is the episode. I would love to. Sometimes I would love to. But anyway. Yeah, I know, Dave. Yeah. Pretty much. Anywho. there it is. So, I'm going to have dinner. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm going to have dinner. I might try to sneak in a really short Twitch stream. This went on longer than I anticipated, so I might start at about 8 p.m., go for about an hour of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the beta, give my thoughts on it. So, like, basically, or at most an hour and a half, if Streamlabs listens to me tonight, just to give my thoughts on it prior to Talk Nerdy to Us. But I am going to sign off because I do have to eat. I have to take my dog out. I have to do a little bit of laundry. Yeah. What, Slash and Burn Theory? One thing before I go. What? Yes, that is my Twitch. Thank you. Disagree, but Roberta's awesome. That's all I'm going to say. So having dinner yourself? Awesome. Yep, I'm going to have some dinner. It's a little after 6:30 for me right now. I've been talking for over 2.5 hours. Shit. But you lovely people in the chat keeping me sane. So thank you all for that. As insane as Mazza makes me, yes, he did keep me sane pretty much, because the thought of bashing him just kind of just fills me with a little bit of glee. But anyway, so I'll be on my Nerdy Home's channel tonight for Talk Nerdy to Us. It'll be on her channel at 10 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, I'm gonna try to sneak in a quick Twitch stream. Wow! Don't you dare say wow, Mazza! Don't you dare say wow! Don't you dare! All right, I'm gonna Greta Thunberg your ass, pretty much. How dare you? No, don't you dare say wow. Anyway, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway, okay. I don't want to make this a long-ass outro, so I'm going to thank you all again for hanging out with me. I'm going to have some dinner, do a quick laundry, take my dog out, and I'll try to jump on Twitch as soon as possible. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Rings of Power is still fucking shite. Doesn't matter if it's the 5th episode or not. 3 more to go, then I can have some peace until the next season starts. And I will see you all next time. Have fun, stay safe, and always remember, okay? Mazza is a Gronk. Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.